Hey guys, before we get into part 3, I just want to inform you that this video was for the most part off script, as there was a lot to cover. I try to go over the ideas discussed in part 3 quickly without dragging it out for hours. I highly recommend you go download the part 3 Nuke project, as I went in after recording and organized the project a lot more. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you and enjoy. Alright, so we're back on part 3 of the Nuke space tutorial, and in this part we're going to be going over how to build the reflections using camera projections. And to start with that, before we do that, let's get our foreground character that we did in the last tutorial and our 3D roto combined. So if we look at our green screen work here, all I did at the end here is write out an alpha to wherever you want just to speed it up, so we don't have to worry about the speed of this affecting our future work. So this right node here, I re-import it, and I have just the footage, our green screen footage. And you can see if we hit A for alpha, you could see that it's just our green screen work that we did here, and it's just going to be a lot faster than trying to go in here and preview it. So go here. And next part would be to get a roto going on him. And since we've done enough roto already, I don't want to make this whole training series a roto job because that's just boring. I'm going to be providing a foreground roto here. And we will be using this on our main guy. And then we will be merging it with our 3D roto that we did in part 1. So let's start. This is simple. We're just going to take M for merge, and we're going to get a mask merge going. If we go to our operation over here, let's hit mask, and A for our foreground, and B for our footage. If we take a look, I'm going to exit out these so I can see better. Kind of see what's going on as we have our guy isolated, at least for the most part. Like I said, this roto and key are not going to be perfect, so we're just trying to get through the tutorial fast and not spend hours on all the fine-tuning. You could do that at the end on your own time, as I just want to try to give you the whole idea of how to build this shot. And I really recommend you go in and do the fine-tuning to make it look really good. So next part would be to get our roto that we have here. Same thing as I just have this written out, and we're just going to merge this on top. If we go in here, should start to look like an actual build and make more sense when you have these two together. So for now, I do want to put a despill on. I'm using a free plugin that I will provide the link below, and it's a Despill Madness. I'm just not going to put much effort in the despill right now, as I just want to kind of get a general despill look as we see here. And this just to hide the distraction of all the green. Like I said, you'd probably want to go back in and really fine tune it later on. But let's get to more of the important stuff, and that would be building our 3D windows. So I'm going to be starting with this file to kind of get a 3D atmosphere going. But before we could just stick this on a card, what really helps sell the shot is to do a camera projection of a floor, and then a left wall, right wall, and then a ceiling, and merge that all together. So what we need is to use the point cloud generator. If you deleted it, then you just have to go through the process again from tutorial 1, and it will show you how to do this. And what we're basically using this for is to get a 3D idea of our room. As we can see, this is our beam over here on the left, our beam on the right. This is our back green screen. This is where our character is running towards. And we just want to get some general cards going that would create this environment more accurately. So I'm going to start by bringing up a card, hitting tab and just entering card. And let's hit the uniform scale at 100 so we can kind of see it more. And like I said, I'm not going crazy on the detail here, as we just want to kind of line it up by eye. And we're going to just see what it looks like when we start doing a RAM preview of it. So I have this. So I want to get this left wall going. Something maybe like that. I'm going to duplicate this. I said Command C, Command V, and do this again. If you hit F, it will always center what you're looking at in 3D, which helps if you're, over here and you're trying to get it aligned again. Just hit F. I'm going to duplicate this one more time. Actually, 2 more times. We need one in the back. So this one I'm going to cancel out the rotation. So we want this as our back wall. So we're doing a rough, really rough kind of boxy theme going right now, as we're going to adjust it all as we start previewing it so we can kind of see more what's going on. So using all of these, we need to basically put a merge geo to get all of these onto one plate. So I'm just going to bring up a merge geo so you could tell. Another tip when it comes to anything 3D is you can always tell the node is 3D if it has these round edges. See, round, 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 this is 3D. If we look at something like a merge or a primat, anything that's 2D work, it's always going to have the hard corners versus this. So I want to just take my merge geo. I'm just going to highlight these, hit Y, Y again. Let's see if we could just do that. That's just a way quicker way than just going in there and, adding that, adding that. So we have all of this in here, and in order to get kind of our texture going, so let's just move this. We're going to make a new 3D spot. We don't need that right now. We're going to make our 3D work here, and we're going to take it and merge our guy and our background on top of our 3D work. So I'm going to put this here, have our object here, and let's get an apply material going. So I'm going to do this, and we're taking this, and we want to basically apply a material. So an example, you can kind of see what's going on here, something like that, but it's not exactly what we want. We're going to uncheck that, and we're going to make a camera projection. So how we do a camera projection is we want to take a frame with our tracked camera that we have here, if we double click it, that we've used in the past, and we want to basically frame hold it. So what I'll be doing is, let's just go on the first frame because that's our widest shot. I'm going to just copy and let's paste this over here. I want to change this color just so it doesn't distract us. I'm doing Command Shift C will bring up our color info, and I typically do like blue just for projection. That's how I learned, and I just stuck to that format. Now I'm going to add a frame hold under this, and we're just going to lock in on frame 0. It's not going to move if we go in here. So now we want to add a projection. So I'm going to hit project 3D here, and we're going to take our camera with our frame hold, and we're going to take our image, which is this one right here to start with, and we're going to take the material here and link that to our camera projection. If we take a look here, we basically have a locked projection map. So you have to think of what a projection is doing, is it's taking whatever frame that we locked it on, which is frame 0, or frame 1, and it's almost like a movie projector, and we're just taking that image and we're throwing it on whatever we tell it to. So we're taking this camera, we're throwing out, like a projection would, we're throwing out this image onto our material that we'd established here. Usually you could throw this on one card, or take multiple cards like we did and merge it so it acts as one object. And now we want to basically get this back into a render. So we're going to be using a scanline render again. And under the camera, we'll use our same camera, except we do not want to use the frame hold as we want to use it as an animation. So if you think about it, it's frozen on this frame, and when we bring it back in, we want the normal animation. This is the same camera we were using on the 3D Roto. It's kind of a similar process. We're just using a different route to get these images on. And our object is going to be our object right here. Now if we take a look at this, if we hit 1, hit tab when you're on the viewer, it's going to get you back to the main preview. Kind of see something going on here, some kind of parallax feeling. So obviously we need to do a lot of work on these cards as we're not filling the whole spot. So we could start with some of the basics. Maybe this needs to move out more. Yeah, that looks correct. Something like this. We want to fill that space. So I'm scaling this. And then I'm going to take the top. Same thing here. Double click that. I'm holding Command and Shift to get to the scaler. I'm just going to scale this up. So we get something going like this. Looks like this needs to be scaled too. And it looks like a little there. So you can kind of feel that the room is getting a parallax versus just sticking this 2D card in the space. Again, it looks like we gotta keep adjusting this. What we can actually do is under here, I want to move this camera back a little. So actually, just so we don't have any errors, let's duplicate this again. And let's take this, just so it's on its own. I don't want to mess this up. And I'm just going to right click here and do no animation on all knobs on our projection camera, which is this one. So really you don't need the frame hold, but we'll stick it on there just for safety as we just deleted all the animation off this. And I want to just scale this back a little. You can kind of see what I mean by projection is, like we said, we're not using this as a camera. Picture it like a movie projector. So I can scale it up. You can see it's kind of shooting the image we told it. And this is a good way to get a fake 3D look without doing a full 3D render, as we're taking an image that we already like these real world reflections, and we're sticking it on a parallax idea of a card, and it's going to help sell the effect. You can only push a projection map so far. If you're trying to do a crazy zoom and rotate, the illusion's going to break, but this works really well on set extensions or maybe a drone flyby, as this is used a lot in the industry for quick, good-looking results. So let's get back to here, and I'm just going to keep playing around with this until I get kind of what I want. I'm going to hit play right here and just see what's going on. Kind of see a little there. I want to get more of where it's more dramatic, where we're going to see it more. So you can kind of see the idea what we're going for. Obviously on the right, it's kind of breaking the illusion, but the main thing is we're only going to be using these highlights for the most part, as we don't really want all this information. So we'll come back to this card positioning, but for now, at the bottom here, let's add a keyer. Just a general lumic keyer. Hit you know, I'm hitting 2 just to view it, and I'm gonna hit A for alpha. We can kind of see this is our generic right now. We want to kind of just brain out what we want, and then I'm gonna throw a pre-multiply after that. And you can kind of see we're getting mainly just the highlights. Now just roughly we can see what's going on here. If we take this and we take our A and move a B, this is just a normal merge, kind of see where the idea of the 3D feeling comes from. Now this is all comes down to opinion based. You play around with all this until you get a result that you like. I'm going to keep going in here and see maybe we can get a little bit, as we're going to fill this with more of like an earth background and stars background, just start stacking stuff until we get a result that we like. Maybe here, you can always throw a grade on here and you can really play more to what you want. So we can do more or less. Black point, if we lower that, we're going to get more of this. But that's also could be affected in our luminance key. This is kind of just up to you what you want. And then I think I might throw, it doesn't really matter where it goes, but I guess I'll put it here. I might throw just I hit B for blur. So kind of want to, we don't ever really want a perfectly sharp image, as that doesn't really match the real life. So I'm going to hit preview here and see what it looks like and come back. So I just previewed this small part right here. I'm just taking a look at it. To me, I feel like these edges are getting bent a little too much, and then the part over here could be thrown way farther in Z space to give it the illusion that where he's at behind him or behind the cameraman is very long hallway. Right now it feels kind of short. So what I'll do there is we're going to go back into our cards here, and I'm just going to take our main back card, put that way out in space, scale it up. That should give the illusion that it's farther away. Starting to. And I think overall there's too much going on. So what I'll do is I do like these smaller details here. I want to leave that, but I think at the end what I could do here is add a multiply. I'll add a multiply here, and all this is basically doing is we're multiplying by itself, so you can use it as like a, I use this node as like an opacity node, like we're at 1 right now, but I can just start kind of seeing what's going on as this is braining down everything. The luma key, we're adjusting the hot and the darks, but I kind of like the darks, so I want to bring those back here and kind of see what I can do here, and then down here bring everything, because if we go to 1 it's going to be too much in my opinion. So something like this, and like I said, we're going to have to really see what this looks like if we start stacking more stuff on it. Okay, so I just pasted these 4 images that I got online that I used in my final version in the past. I'll provide links for all of these. I think I just found these all on like Google Images. So, I'm just kind of, there's no secret formula to this. It's just kind of stacking layers until you start to get a look that you like. So I think under the scanline render here is if we want to add more stuff, we're going to need a scene. So take that. I'm going to plug my scene here. I just held both of them and hit Y. Or you could drag it. And we could just start, maybe we could start with this galaxy photo just so we can get more than just the plain black in there. So for this, we can get away with more of a regular card. So I'm going to take our edge card, that was this one, I'm just going to copy paste that, and what we could do is just plug this in and see what's going on. If we look at our final, okay, let's see what we can do. Actually, you know what? Let's do, I'm going to duplicate this. I do want this on a separate layer so we can do more. And I'm just going to do this same setup. I'm going to take a dot so it's easier. And we're going to take this camera and we'll take a scene and we're going to plug this in, plug that in, no background needed, and let's see, I think we could take this here, I'm going to hit Shift X, I want this on top, and I'm going to put this here, Yeah, this will work better. We're taking A, and I think we might be able to get away with screen, as screen removes the black, which we might not even need that. We'll come back to that, but let's see what we have here. So I want this kind of way in space. I want this back here. So I'm just kind of playing around. I'm going to hit grade, see what we can get here. Take our black point. Take our overall gain. Kind of see the idea that I'm going for. I think this is too much in the way, so I'm going to... I like the card position. I'm just taking a transform. I'm just going to start scaling this down. I think it's a little less... It's a little better down there. And we're probably going to have the earth there too anyways, so it shouldn't matter too much. Kind of see it going together. And this is why you're going to come back and forth. Now maybe this can be lifted a little more, so I might come in here. Like I said, we really got to take care of that. That's really bugging me. Come back to that. So we're starting to get a 3D feel going, but I think it's still too plain. We're just going to keep stacking stuff. So I think in this scene, I just wanted to leave our whole reflections alone, but I think for the most part, we could put everything else in this scene. But if we got to make more of these scanline renders, we will. So maybe, I think this I used to give it more of a blue theme. I just use like this city layout, so let's put a crop on here, as we don't need all of that. We want more of like this area. I'm going to hit reformat. And what we'll do here is let's take this same card, copy paste it, plug it in our scene, and plug that in. And what do we got? This can be, hit F, oops. I'm gonna hit F again, see what's up. Where's our cards at? I wanna see what's going on. Our main camera's there. So I want this probably closer, as we're probably going to use this as reflections. Let's go back to our one. Whoa, it's not what we want, but we'll play with this. I don't know why. What's going on here? Oh, it's just way too close. Do not know why this is inside out. Let's take this. I'm gonna hit 180s. I want to flip that. What is it looking like now? So this is what I mean by just stacking a bunch of reflections. I think this will start to help if we can get this correct. So I think this is still way too scaled. So we want to kind of scale it the way we want. What are you doing? Alright, so obviously we don't want it this crazy, but it's the little hints of this stuff that can help. So I'm going to do on this, I'm going to do another multiply, and we're just going to bring this way down. Kind of see what's going on. Is we're just filling the whole area a little bit. Trying to just fill out all these reflections. I think now looking at this, this might be able to be scaled more. So over here in our master photo, let's take a transform, see what we can do. Because I don't want to mess with all of our projections. I think those are looking okay. But let's see what we can do here. Something like this. Maybe get more of a floor. I like this center part, but I do want this more on the floor. And then see what this grade on and off, what's going on. Okay, I do like that. So take our black point, just keep lowering it. Get something I like. And then maybe our galaxy here, I'm going to hit color correct and see if I can just play around with these, maybe get more saturation going. So we're getting something going. Trying to just stack as much as we can get. Again, we're going to do the same process we just did in the city. I have this reflection too. Let's see what this is. I think we could use this. Maybe not these top parts. Maybe we can. We'll see. So for this, I'm trying to debate if we need to do this whole process again, or do we just want to do the card. I think for this, we could just get away with the card. So again, taking this, taking that, and seeing what's going on here. So maybe just stick that a little bit more in space, and then we could put a little keyer on here, and we want to basically do that, and we're going to hit pre-multiply. So we do not want, we kind of do not want that. Sad. Just try to get rid of the black, so we don't want that. We just kind of want to stack what we think would work. If this doesn't work, we'll use a screen on a merge, which is another way of removing black from a photo or image or whatever asset you're using. Let's take a look. Let's go back to 1. Okay, we can kind of see something going on. If we disable that, we put it back on. So if we take this off, kind of just this. So let's see. Take that. I'm going to throw transparent. So I don't think we need. See what we can do. Maybe we can get away with making this more like a blue theme. Why is this resolution so low? Actually, I'm going to disable that right now. Like I said, I'm just kind of freewheeling right here, just seeing what looks good and what doesn't. So there's no formula to it. I don't even know if these are going to work, to be honest. I'm not really a huge fan, but we'll see. I say we get rid of something like that. And then I want to make these blue. So I'm going to go to the master. Let's try blue. Is that doing anything? Take that. I'm going to maybe hit blur. Get a blur going. Something like that. Like I said, we're just kind of stacking everything until it starts to look good. Here we have our Earth photo I just got online. It's like an 8K photo. We're going to use that, but let's think it's the best way to do this. I think we might be able to use a projection map, so what I'll be doing is, let's go back to here. Let's go back to our merge geo so I can kind of see our area, and I want to make a sphere. So with this sphere, I'm going to start scaling this until I can see it. I'm hitting like 100 right now. Obviously Earth wouldn't be like this close, but I think we can get away with this. Start something like that. And what we'll be doing, have our scan line. Let's take another scan line. So I want to duplicate this. I want this on its own layer too. Same thing, we'll hit the camera there. Our background. Let's duplicate this. So I'm going to take our projection again. This might get a little messy, but we'll see what we can do. Take this. Our object would be the sphere. Okay, so we have our Earth set up here. We're going to do the sphere, and this sphere is going to be plugged in to our projection map, and we'll bring this down, and I'm going to delete this, delete that, delete this. I'm going to delete all that actually, and we'll take our Earth photo and see what we can do here. So, okay, we want this, and I'm going to maybe move this up, or actually let's put a transform here. And we'll come back. So I want to just try to bring this up. So 40, is that doing anything? Alright, let's do 200. And we'll just go in increments of 100 until we get something. And this is hard to tell without looking at it. So I want this above everything. So I'm trying to think the best way to do this. So we'll take all of this, scale this down, and we want okay, let's actually start here. I want to see what we have. Let's take this. I want to scale this. Let's make this a big Earth, throw it back more. So we need to fill that whole screen part. Alright, something like that. It's going to give us kind of a little 3D feel. Looks like that needs to be scaled a little more. Keep throwing this back. And then I'm going to fill this up more. Alright. It's got something going here. Probably going to need to scale this down, or move it down. And we need to get this behind all of our reflections. So we'll take a merge. We have our, so let's go over this. We have our parallax kind of wall reflections. We have our random galaxy and just added stuff to stack. And then we have our Earth here. We want this behind all of that. So the best route, I should have done that first, but I think the best route is to take this merge, just a normal merge, and I'm going to put A over B, B being our Earth, so what we have now, oh, sorry, I'm going to take A down here, take A on our multiply, and we have this, and then we want to take this screen, and we want to take, we'll switch that. This needs to be A here and B here. If we take that, we have that. So the Earth is behind everything. It's a little confusing, but we'll take our main project here and take that to our final. Now, if we look, we should have something. Alright, we have something going on here. Now we can start adjusting stuff. So our transform probably needs to shift down, actually. Right? Yes. So we don't want this Earth. This is kind of up to you opinion-wise. We want this filling here. I think we could probably get away with a little bit of a rotation, as to me it looks like it's curving a little. And for now, this is looking too hot, so I'm going to put C for color correction. And like I said, I'm just going to kind of start free on it. Contrast it. No, I like the contrast. And then we'll put a blur for now. I like to do like defocuses, but they're heavy on the machine. So for now, let's get something going like that. And since we kind of just stuck the sphere in a random spot in space, we don't know if it's sitting right. If it feels like the Earth is 2 feet away from us, it's not going to look right. So I'm going to hit preview and see what it kind of starts to look like. Alright, so after previewing it a little bit, I noticed that we did one thing wrong, and that is the screen here. We don't want that to be over. So what I'm going to be doing is, because you can kind of see our galaxy peeking under the Earth, which isn't right. So I want to change this from screen, and we're going to go with an under, which is commonly not that used. It's basically exact same thing as the default over, which is A over B, but you're taking A and putting it under B. And what we'll do there, and this reason why we have this black here is because our Earth doesn't have a normal alpha channel, so we're gonna have to make one. Go to our Earth rule here. You can see if we hit A, there's nothing there. So I'm gonna start by adding a shuffle, and what the shuffle is going to do is we're going to basically say on the alpha channel here, we're ignoring everything else, but on the alpha channels you have red equals red, green equals green, blue equals blue, alpha equals alpha. There's no alpha, so we're going to tell it alpha equals white, which is just full that. And now under that I'm going to add a keyer, and here we can kind of see if we go back to the alpha hitting A, we want to start to get rid of the black part. So something like this would probably work, and we're seeing a little bit of an edge there, but I think this gets clipped off anyways as our projection's using more of the middle part. See a little there, but we'll see what that looks like. So after that I'm going to hit pre-multiply. It's basically taking your alpha and bringing it to the top. Let's see. And if we go back to our preview, I also added a crop at the end. So if you notice here, sometimes if you don't have something like this, you'll see your bounding box is bigger than your actual project, and it could slow the render time as it could be processing information down here or over here, and you're not seeing that, so it's kind of a waste of computer use. So what you could do is just throw a crop on after all of your work. And I don't touch anything on the crop as we're just using the normal format, and it's just going to ignore anything outside of this. It's not going to render any of that or process any of that. Should speed your render up a little bit if you have something really heavy going on, especially like a denoise or something similar to that. So let's take another look and see what we're at. Okay, so I have another small preview going here. This is starting to look a lot better. It's starting, we can really see some parallax going around here. And one thing that is kind of bothering me with this is these reflections on the Earth. It kind of comes down to opinion. I think for now we're going to leave it, but that kind of comes down to you. You could use like the alpha from the Earth to tell it to ignore on this part, ignore this area. I can show you how to do that if you guys want. But I think for now, the idea is there. I really hope you guys continue to just really finesse this until you get a look that you really like. And I think part 4 we could probably go over other stuff. Maybe we'll go over getting the screen using similar idea that we did with the 3D roto. We can do that to get this screen going. Maybe going back and fine-tuning the green screen work, which is definitely needed to help sell it more. And then maybe throwing on any little lens effects is going to help sell the whole idea. Get the correct blurs, get better colors looking, make the whole scene look a little less flat. But I hope you guys use this projection map idea and really go take it to the next level and use this on any future comp projects you have. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hopefully part 4 will be coming out soon. Have a good one.